Welcome to Millwood Outdoors. This morning I'm in Eau Claire, Wisconsin at Wolf Ridge Manufacturing. We're attending the 2025 Midwest Firewood Frenzy. This is the first time I've ever been to the Frenzy. In fact, it's the first time I've ever been to a firewood event, period. So I'm excited to see what Bob Nelson, Chris Wolf, and the crew at Wolf Ridge have in store for us. So let's go check it out.
One of the issues we have today is it's very hot, very humid. Last time we saw a ran, it was cooler than what we were thinking. What the saw is doing right now, we have the information about the ambient air and it's adjusting for the current conditions. So you always want to let them get that information. And it's warming up too, right? What?
The Stihl rep was on hand, and if you brought your PPE, you could try out a chainsaw. I chose the 500i. The 500i is 79.2 cc's and 13.9 pounds. I thought it had a ton of power, and it was balanced really well. At the beginning of April, I bought an MS362. My MS362 is about a pound and a half lighter and only 59 cc's. And even with the extra weight, the 500i was really easy to handle. I didn't really notice a difference, and it seemed well balanced. So I think the 500i is a great saw, and I may have to put that on the list for a future purchase. Arclight was there with their full line of custom fire pits and grills of all different shapes and sizes. And it looks like Justin does a lot more than just fire pits and grills. He does precision CNC plasma cutting and all types of fabrication. So just give him an email at arclightcustomwelding@gmail.com. Hartville Hardware was there. They're from Hartville, Ohio, and I'm told they are the largest hardware store in the country. They had 3 Logosol mills there, the F2 chainsaw mill and 2 other bandsaw mills. The chainsaw mill weighs 143 pounds, so it's easily portable. I was especially interested in the chainsaw mill because I don't own a chainsaw mill yet, but when I do, I'll probably be looking at a chainsaw mill at least to get started. And these will definitely be on the list.
661.
Okay.
Yeah,
Boy, that
90 cc.
that made that mark pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could have pushed it. The nice thing about this is just being consistent. You know, it'd be no different than the manual version too. You just got to be consistent on how you push it. You know, through.
Did you want to take that home too? We don't have room in the CRV for that.
Well, you can always put it on the roof.
Folds up. That's true. This may look like a 17 RS, but it's not. It's actually Wolf Ridge's new 17 XS. So what they did was they took a 22 RS power plant and mated it with a 17 RS cylinder. And like all the other RS models, this is available with autocycle or a log lift. The log splitter that I'm using now is a Spico that was built in 1982. And it just may be the slowest log splitter in the world. I'm not kidding. Well, someday when I've had enough and I need to move up to something faster, I'll be looking at one of the RS machines to replace it with. This is the Wolf Ridge 17 VS. The 17 VS comes in 3 versions. A gas engine with a side conveyor, and an electric motor version. There seems to be some debate about vertical versus horizontal splitters. And while we're watching this one split some wood, let me share my thoughts. So, when I first saw the vertical machines, I thought, well, that's nothing I'm interested in. I'm going to stick with the horizontal. But, you know, I've watched videos on the vertical, and, you know, I'm watching this today, and it's hard to argue against the ergonomics of it. You know, his back seems pretty straight, and his arms are out in front of him. He's not doing a lot of reaching. I mean, essentially, you're just splitting wood on a workbench in a way. You know, the work table on the VS is basically the same height as the workbench in my garage. So there's an advantage there. And for me, I'm just getting into firewood to build up a supply of firewood, and I've been taking some Facebook Marketplace free wood, and a lot of times that comes in big rounds. And I've been noodling them, and that's okay. That's kind of fun. But if I didn't have to do that, if I had something that worked good with big rounds, which the verticals do, well, that would certainly be a plus. And the fact that they're trailer towable, well, that would work good with having the cabin up north. It'd be really nice to just hook onto the vertical, hook onto it with the truck and pull it up to the cabin for a weekend or a couple of weeks, and then hook onto it and pull it back home and use it here. So there's some advantages there. And then look at the pile of split firewood. It's beautiful. There's no trash at all. It's ready to use in a bag or in a bundle or wherever you need it.
What we're looking at here is the Versa Split. The Versa Split can be mounted on any skid loader or a tractor with a loader in place of the bucket. This is a 22-ton version, but Wolf Ridge can build them in other tonnages to suit your needs. There were Wolf Ridge factory tours on the day of the frenzy, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. We took the morning tour, and Chris Wolf was our tour guide. I thought the factory was clean and well organized, and I'm surprised at the number of splitters that they turn out in a week's time. There's even talk about an expansion in the future. And then after the tour, Chris hung around and answered people's questions and talked about the history of Wolf Ridge and how it got started. It turns out there's 21 splitters that were built in Chris's garage, and I thought, boy, wouldn't it be great to find one of the first 21 garage-built splitters. You could own a great splitter, and you could own a piece of Wolf Ridge history all at the same time. I missed getting video of the Fuelwood Splitta 400. This is the first machine in the United States. Dan from Back 40 Firewood took a great video of that machine in action, and I'll put a link in the description, so make sure and check that out. After getting home and looking at the video clips, I realized I should have taken a lot more close-ups. This is video number 5 for Millwood Outdoors, and I'm still learning and trying to figure things out. But the firewood fellow was there, and he took a lot of close-ups of a lot of the machines in action, so make sure and check his video out, and I will put a link to his video in the description. That about wraps it up for Midwest Firewood Frenzy 2025. I want to give a special thanks to Bob Nelson, Chris Wolf, and the gang at Wolf Ridge for putting on a great show. I know it's a lot of work, but everyone had a great time, and I'm planning to come back again next year. Make sure and hit that like and subscribe button. Signing off from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and spend some time outdoors.